What's going on, guys? Welcome to the channel. Today we're going to take a ride over on the three-wheelers right there to my brother's house because he has a torch. Now we need that torch because when I was doing the cylinders the other day and I was getting things prepped to put them back on the motor, well, I noticed a major problem that I didn't know I had last year. So that problem would be down here, this bracket right here. Yeah, it's not supposed to move. It's supposed to be welded to the bulkhead right there, and I can't get this steering rod off, so I'm gonna have to get a torch, heat it up, and hopefully pray that it comes off. But I think in the meantime, before I honestly deal with that steering linkage and getting that bracket welded back on, I think I'm going to still have to put the motor back together just to make sure that nothing else gets into the motor. No debris from towing it to wherever I have to tow it to get it welded, anything like that, because that would make for a very bad day when this motor gets running again. So I need to get this sealed up very soon, but in the meantime I need to know whether or not I can get that steering linkage off. So here we go, let's take a trip. Okay, so I've already soaked this with PV Blaster, this steering knuckle, a few times. Now we're gonna see whether or not I can heat it up and get it off. Success. It broke loose. Now I just got to get the tie rod stuff off on the outside and I should be able to just pull the rod right out. So after fighting with it for about 5 minutes, just threads that seemed like they were endless, it's finally out. And here's the rod right here. And it appears they even had Loctite on here. So I'm going to have to figure out what Loctite I'm supposed to be using. Now this right here is the bracket that is supposed to be welded to the bulkhead, and some jackass before me decided to glue this bushing in instead of putting it back in the way it was supposed to be. So I'm going to have to fix that too, because that's a no-go. That bushing needs to be in there all the way to do its job. So now I have to finish taking apart this steering knuckle stuff, which is a bolt that goes through here and a bolt that goes through here to get all this out of the way. Then I have to pull some of this wiring harness up. I have to take that voltage regulator off of here so that it can be TIG welded back onto the frame as the factory did it, so that hopefully I don't have to deal with this again. I knew when I got this machine that it was ridden hard, but I wouldn't have expected something like this. Someone struck something for sure in order to even cause this to fracture. Hell, I think people have hit trees and not had this break off. So I'm going to have to make sure it gets welded on a lot better than it was, because this sucks.
So I didn't do an outro or a finishing result of this video before we had it running. But right now I'll show you what happened as far as getting that bracket welded back in here. Now I didn't have to take out the steering components because, well, I'd had to take apart a whole lot more than what I really wanted to take out. So essentially all I did was move the wiring. But as you can see, the bracket is back in there and it was welded in there, and there's even a new bushing in there. Okay, and then from the outside what had happened was the guy that welded it, which was Del Duca's in Burton, I had him weld it, and what he did was he had to cut open the belly pan right there, say, and that was aluminum, so he had to weld aluminum to do it. But he was able to cut open the aluminum and weld that bracket in on both sides with way more weld than the factory had on it. So that bracket should never have to come off again. So if you like this video, give us a thumbs up, maybe even subscribe, and see what else we have in store. As you've seen from previous videos, we have a lot of things that we can do as far as three-wheelers, trucks, cars, and, well, our snowmobiles. So thanks for viewing.